Hello everyone, today I'm gonna be showing you how to create a lapping system. This is a system that's gonna allow the game to know which car is in front, which car is winning the races, so you can create any type of racing game you would want to play. So I hope you enjoy the video and I hope you learned something new here. Okay, let's get started. The first thing we're gonna need is a way for the game to know what a race is, how it looks, what shape it has, so it can actually calculate who is in front, who is in the back, and which car is winning. So to do this, we're gonna actually have a starting line, also finish lines interchangeable, and we're gonna have waypoints inside the racetrack. Something like the waypoints we have used in previous videos to create the AI cars. So let's get started by creating a finish line or start line. We're just gonna have a cube for now. Let's just, I guess we can just make a white cube. I guess it's a rectangle, but not even a rectangle. Anyways, we increase the height of it, something like this, and we also give it a material. So this looks like a nice finish line. And also we need to make sure that its collider is not colliding with our cars, but it's a trigger. So make sure you click the is trigger here. And after that, we're also gonna have to make the checkpoints. So as I said, the checkpoints are like the waypoints for the AIs. So we can just use these, just gonna duplicate them. And I'm gonna delete like almost all of them. So, okay. So I'm deleting all of them. And now I'm gonna just be copy pasting this just for us to see where we should have the checkpoints. So the checkpoints don't need to be as close to each other as the waypoints for the AI, since the calculation is based on distance. So the distance can always be calculated more easily than where the car needs to turn. So we're gonna have a few checkpoints, maybe add one here, add one here. So basically we just want to have the checkpoints near the turns, near places where a player can overtake. And yes, so final checkpoint here, and this is perfect. Now we're just gonna name this checkpoints, and we're gonna name our cube finish line. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is start scripting. So we're creating a script. We're gonna call it lapping system. And we're gonna put it into our finish line. We're gonna do this because the finish line is gonna be using the collider to see if you have passed the finish line or not, whereas the checkpoints are gonna be distance based. So we have to have the script on top of the collider. To do this, we're gonna be creating a new function, which we're gonna call handle checkpoints, which is basically going to iterate over the cars list and checking if we are after a checkpoint, or sorry, if we are inside the checkpoint range, and if that's the case, we increment it. So we're gonna create a new list, a new for loop with an I as our iterator. So I is smaller than our car's length. We're gonna increment it. So what we're gonna be doing after is we're gonna say which is our current checkpoint for our car. So this is going to be basically this, just so we don't have to repeat it a lot of times. So we're gonna go to cars, the current car we're iterating over, and our checkpoint position. Perfect, yes. So now what we're gonna be doing is checking the distance between our checkpoint and our car. So we're gonna have a float that we're gonna call distance. And this is going to be a vector 3 distance, yes, between our car, so cars.i.car prefab, dot position, dot transform dot position, and also our checkpoint, so way checkpoint dot current checkpoint, and we are gonna check, the checkpoints.position, yes. And we're gonna check if the distance is smaller than our checkpoint range, which if it is, we're gonna increment the checkpoint counter. So we're gonna go, if the distance is smaller, we're gonna go into our cars, and we're gonna increment the position. So checkpoint position plus plus, so +1, or you can even write it like this. Perfect. So now if we go back to Unity, let's see if this works. We're gonna have the iterators here, the current position of the cars here. So let's see this. So we press play and let's see what happens. So we use the gas, this here is our checkpoint, and this should increment, but it doesn't. Let's check why. So going back to our script. Okay, so we have our handle checkpoints, the function, but we have not called it. And basically we want to be calling it every frame. So we go back to update and we input our function. So let's see. We press play now and we should have a way to check at what position in the race we are at. So you can check it here. Once we come close, we are at 1. Then we're gonna go shortly at 2. Yes, you can see everyone is at 2. If I wait a bit, everyone is at 3 now. And if I give them a bit of space, they're gonna be ahead of me. 4, you see the other people are 4, I'm at 3, 4 here. And yes, so there is one problem with this, which I'm gonna speed up the video a bit so we can get to the laps. Okay, so what you're gonna be seeing now is this is going to be 10, 10, and shortly we're gonna have an error in our console. Yes, we have an error that our index was outside of the bounds of the array. What does this mean? So as you can see, we are at 11, 10, 10, 10. So what happens is, if we go back to our Visual Studio, we are checking with a checkpoint position, but there are a total of 10 checkpoints, 11, sorry. So when the car goes to the 11th checkpoint and we increment once more, we do not have another checkpoint. So we want the checkpoints to roll back. So instead of just taking the checkpoint position, here we're gonna be doing a modulo, which is basically taking the rest of the division between our checkpoint length, so not checkpoint, checkpoints in general, dot length. But also, since we want to have the finish line, which is also going to be a checkpoint, we're gonna just increment this by 1 as well. So this should give us our checkpoint position. Perfect. But we also need to make sure that we are not in our finish line. So as long as our current position, current checkpoint, I'm really bad with names, is smaller than our checkpoint length. So that means that we are inside our array, checkpoints.length. Then we do these calculations. And if not, then we handle the finish line. So to do this, we go into void. We don't go into the void, but we create a new function that is called on trigger enter. Trigger enter, yes. And this function has one thing called a collider. And this is how many objects or what objects have currently collided with the trigger. So to check what car has entered the trigger, we're gonna just to play it safe, we're gonna take the parent object of the collider. So we're gonna create a new variable, which we're gonna call the car that has entered, or just simply car. And that's going to be our other collider dot transform dot parent dot game object. Yes, this is long. Okay, so now we want to check which car from our cars has actually hit the finish line, and if they should be in the finish line or they have gone backwards, and we want to avoid this. So we're gonna once again be iterating over our list of cars. So I is smaller than the cars dot length, and I plus plus, and here we're gonna check if our current car is equal to the cars that we are iterating over. So yes, sorry, not the cars, this is the structure, so we want the car prefab. Okay, perfect. And if this is the case, and our car is actually inside the finish line, should be checking for the finish line, we take this once again. We just copy paste it, so I don't have to do this again. And we check if this now is equal to the checkpoint's length. So we also copy paste this. And here, instead of smaller, we press equal. If this is the case, once again, we go into cars, put I, and then we increment the checkpoint position. So checkpoint position plus plus. Perfect. So now this should fix our problems with the laps that we have. Okay, so I just realized for some reason here, I have no idea what this is. It somehow removed a lot of letters, so it's on trigger enter. And let's check now how it is. So we go back to our Unity and we press play, and not much should change, pretty much just fixing the bug where we have a null pointer reference. Null reference pointer? No, it's an out of bounds memory. But anyways, we're gonna see these incrementing. So theoretically here, this is 2, 2, I'm still at 1, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now we want a way to actually order our cars. So as you may have noticed in the canvas, I have made this thing here called positioning and our laps, which is what we're gonna be accessing. So we go back to our script and we create a new text. So we're gonna call this text mesh pro position text, I guess, or txt. I like this better. And also our lapping. So text mesh pro lap text. Perfect. Okay. So now we want to keep track of the current lap we're in and what our position is. So let's do the easy thing first, which is checking the lap. So to do this, we're creating another function which we're gonna call handle like render lap text, sure. And basically here we're just gonna be accessing our lap text dot text. And this is pretty easy. We're just gonna take this, but instead of modulo, we're gonna have a division, and this should give us our current lap. But as you can see here, we do not know which car is the player, but we did have a boolean which we called player, so we can know which car is the player, which index is the player. So we're gonna create a new private int, which we're gonna call player index. And to find which car is the player, we're gonna create a loop at the start of the instance of the scene, which also is going to iterate over the car. So I'm just gonna copy paste this because I'm too lazy to write it again. So we iterate over our cars, and if the cars dot I dot player, so if the current car we're iterating over is the player, then we keep this as the index, so player index is I, and we exit the loop. And this should just give us which car is the player. So we're gonna use this as our index, so player index, checkpoint position, and everything should be fine. But we get an error, cannot implicitly convert into the string. So basically, this is a number. This is how many laps we have. So to fix this very easily, we just put a string and just say lap. And so we're gonna have lap 1 out of 3, for example. So here we have lap plus our current lap plus out, I guess the symbol, plus our number of maximum laps, which we do not have. So we're also gonna need to know how many laps we want our race to be. So total laps, and we can set this to 2, I guess. So total laps, perfect. So let's see if this works. But as you can see here, this is highlighted, this is not used. So we also put this into our update function, and let's see. Okay. So we go back. This is our finish line here. That has our script, and we have 2 text objects. So we just input our positioning object and our lap text, I guess, not object, but text. So lap, perfect. So theoretically here, we should see our current lap for the player. So lap 0 out of 2. This is wrong, I know. This is because we just need to check, sorry. We just need to increment this by 1, since we always start counting by 0. So let's try again, and let's see if this is more correct now. Also, we are getting a null reference error, so we're gonna also need to check what this is about. So once we go inside the collider, we get a null reference error, so we're gonna fix this. But as you can see, 0, 1 out of 2. Don't you love strings? So this here thinks this is the same as this. So yes. So to fix this, we just input this into a parenthesis and hope that Unity can detect that this is a number and not a string. So let's see if this is the case. Come on, Unity. Don't be like JavaScript. Okay, lap 1 out of 2. Perfect. So now if we were to do the lap system, the whole lap again, which I'm just gonna go and fast forward this, we're gonna see this getting incremented. So now we should see this incremented, and it did not. So that's probably because of our error. So we have an error at line 68. So this thing here, yes. So the problem here is that instead of parent, the actual the actual syntax is root. So let's try again. This should fix the error. I'm also gonna go and fast forward so we can see the lap change very quickly, hopefully after the loadings. Okay, so we should not see an error now, and we do not see an error, which is good. We also see this getting incremented correctly. So fast forwarding again. Okay, so in a bit we should see the lap getting incremented from 1 to 2, and yes, indeed, it incremented. So now we want to create and actually make the ordering of the players' cars. So, okay, let's do this now. Okay, so to do this, we're gonna need to order the cars. So we need to sort the list of cars from lowest to highest. So to do this, we're gonna be using an algorithm to do the sorting for us. And this algorithm is gonna be the hardest thing I'm gonna be showing you today. And it's a simple algorithm, but we're gonna be using it, not for its speed, but because it's very easy to understand. So let me see if there is a GIF for me to explain it by a GIF. So basically what you do is you take the numbers and you just swap whenever you find two different numbers, not different, one number being bigger than the other. But we can also do the opposite. So one bigger, and we can reverse that thing. So right here, this after the GIF ends, we'll have a sorted list, and we want to do the exact same thing with our cars. So now we go back to our script, and let's get started. Okay, and since we're gonna be following a very well-known algorithm, we're just gonna say we're just gonna take an example of the algorithm, and we're gonna put it into our script, but we're gonna change it quite a lot. So I'm gonna just put this here. I never copy paste it. Nice. Nope, still not copy paste. Okay, got it. So I'm just gonna comment this out, but we can see it and we can get ideas for it. And we're gonna create a new function, which we're gonna call order cars. Perfect. So let's look at the algorithm. This is the bubble sort. So we need to know our array size. So this is our cars.length here. And then we iterate over each one of them, each car. We have a boolean, which we see if we have actually swapped a car or not. And we go over again to our cars, and we check if our car, so if the checkpoint of the car is bigger than our checkpoint, then we should be first and not second, and so on and so forth, and we order the loop. So let's take this and let's change it to match what we need for our code. So here, oops, what? Okay, I somehow put the script to the, what? Okay. All right, So we have our iterator. Here we want to put our, instead of n, so int n, it's going to be our cars.length. And this, we're just gonna call this boolean swapped, so we can instantiate it. And when we check here, we want to check that our checkpoint is bigger than the other one, not if we are smaller. So we're not sorting smallest first, we're sorting biggest first. So here in the array.j, we're gonna go into our cars dot checkpoint. So this, and we're gonna do this here as well. Sorry, cars and then the dot checkpoint. And we're also gonna check if we are smaller and not bigger, as I said. And if this is the case, we want to swap the two. Okay, so how do we swap? What do we swap? So what we're gonna be doing is having a list that is going to contain the current order of our cars. So the first item, place 0, is going to be our first car, second car, and so on and so forth. So to do this, we're gonna create a new list, an integer list, which we're gonna call order list, and we're gonna instantiate it here. So after our player, we're gonna say our order list is going to be a list of size as big as our car length, so cars.length. And since this is going to be instantiated with all zeros, we want it to be basically 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, basically the indices of our car. So we're gonna create yet another, actually we don't need to create another list, we can just put it here. So order list, oh actually we do need, okay. So we create another for loop, which we're basically just gonna go order list equals I. So our indices of our cars. Yes. So the position 0 is going to be the index 0, and so on and so forth. So after going there, what we want to do is go back to our orders car function. And instead of j, we want to know the ordered list of j. So ordered list of j, and the same for the next one. So here. And now we want to swap. So to do this, we're gonna create a temporary integer, which is going to be equal to our order j, sorry, yes. And we're gonna basically say that our order list.j is equal to the one that we're gonna be changing with. So this plus 1, and we're gonna do the exact opposite. So here, since we have already set the j to be j plus 1, we cannot say order list jsin1 plus 1 is equal to the previous one. We are gonna use our temporary one to swap. There are cooler ways to do this, but this is the simplest way to do this. So now, if we go to our Unity, this should work. We should have an index list that's going to contain our players. But what we also want to do is render the text here. So let's do this. Okay, so the same way we created our render lab text, we're gonna create a new function, which we're gonna call render position text. And here we're gonna basically be recreating what we are seeing here. So first line, first player, sorry, not first player, the first car. Second line, third line, and so on and so forth. So to do this, we go here and we create a new string, which we're gonna call temp string, which is going to have nothing at the start. And we're gonna iterate over our car list again. So cars.length. And now we want to check, sorry, not cars.length, but our actual order list. So, sorry, here, orders list. And here we're gonna want to check which car we have and basically creating the string. So, current car. So we're gonna create just for ease of use new car object, which we're gonna call car, which is just going to be our cars dot order list dot I. Yes, okay. And then we're gonna go into our string and we're gonna say that our temp string is we're gonna append basically the name of the car plus its position. So we're gonna say that sorry, here we want the position, so this is I, and to not have the same problem as we did with the render lab text, we're gonna increment by 1, and we're gonna say, so number 1 is the name of the car, so car.name. Perfect. And in order to be able to create a new line, we use the new line character. So whenever the computer sees this, it's going to think that we have pressed enter and we have a new line. So render position the position text. Perfect. Let's try it now. Okay. So here we should see this being one player, and it's not the case. Is this because we have not pressed anything? No. The problem is that we have our temp string, but we have not assigned it to anything. So here we're gonna go into position text. Text is going to be equal to our temp string. Perfect. So let's try it again now. This should work whenever we stop the game. So let's go now. Let's see. Is this going to work or is it not going to work? It is working. So you can see first one is AI purple, then AI green, then I'm fourth, and so on and so forth. So let's say if I pass anyone, I can't. Not going to be able to pass anyone apparently. So if I pass anyone on the next checkpoint, we should see my name changing. And I'm really bad. Let me try again. Okay, so AI purple, AI green, and so on and so forth. So here I should be third. I'm not third. Why is that? So I'm not third because some of you may have noticed I never put the order cars function in our update function. So now we should actually be able to see the progress of the game. So let's wait for this a bit to load, and yes. Okay. So now I should be third here, third. I'm still not third, still not third. Now I'm second, okay. So I was a bit ahead of this guy. So as you can see, if I brake a bit, I need to wait for the cars to go to the next checkpoint, which obviously this is not how racing car games work. We want them to have real-time information about the distance of the cars. So what can we change about our algorithm? So when we go back to our order car algorithm, we see that we check if they're smaller, so if we have different checkpoint positions. But what happens if we're on the same checkpoint? If we're on the same checkpoint, then we want to check the distance to the checkpoint instead to see who is further or not. So let's do this. Oops. Okay, so like before, we want to make sure that we're not inside our our finish line. So we're gonna take this calculation here again, and we're gonna input it here. Oops, sorry, not here, but outside of this. So else if this is true, sorry, just to not lose my copy paste. So else if these two are equal to each other, then we do our calculation. So here this should be J since they're on the same one, and if actually we can have a game object or position or whatever. Let's just say position vector3 dot checkpoint check position. So if we are not in our finish line, so we are inside the checkpoints dot length. So if our current checkpoint is smaller than our checkpoints dot length, then we can access the checkpoint position directly. So checkpoint position is equal to our checkpoints dot current checkpoint. dot position. Yes. Else, if this is not the case, then our checkpoint position, position is equal to the finish line. And since we are the finish line here, the finish line object is the one holding the script, we can just say transform, which is our current object transform dot position. Perfect. And now we just check the two positions and we check which one is bigger. So we have distance 1 and distance 2. So this is going to be a vector 3 again. Dot distance between our cars here. So our first car. We just take this. Dot car prefab dot transform dot position. Yes, this is big. And our check position. And we copy this again. So check position, but we need the next car. And now we check again which one's bigger and which one's smaller. So in this case, we prefer the one that has smaller distance to the checkpoint. So if distance 1 is bigger than distance 2, so that this means that the car 1 is lower than car 2, so we are not sorted, we swap them again. So once again, we take this, copy paste, and we have a perfect ordering script. Perfect, so let's try it now. Okay, so now we should see that in real time our car position updates. So you can immediately see that Panos second, if I draw a bit behind, I immediately fall to fourth. So maybe here we're gonna see, yes, you saw that green overpassed purple for a little bit. And if I pass everyone, okay, I'm awful. I'm still fourth, but yeah, you understand what I want to say. So we can also add a little bit of the cherry on top, which is going to be measuring the distance between each player. So we can have actual real-time data on what player, or which player is first and how far we are from the first player. So to do this, we're going to go back to our lapping script. So we're here, and we're gonna go to the render position text. So if we're not the first car, we're gonna be measuring the distance between the cars to the first car. So what we're gonna be doing is going to our render position text and checking whether we are the first car. If we are not the first car, so if we are the second one and after, we're gonna showing the distance between the two cars. So we're gonna create a new float, which we're gonna call distance, which is going to be our vector, our distance between the two cars. So distance between cars dot order list dot 0. So this is our first car. Dot car prefab dot transform dot position. And our second car, which is going to be the exact same thing, but this time with our iterator. So I here. This is going to be our distance between the two cars. So now we want to display the distance. So we're gonna go into our string and we're gonna append, before adding the new line, we're gonna append the distance. So we're gonna just include a space, we're gonna open a parenthesis, and we're gonna print the distance. To do this, we just go and use our variable distance, and we say that we want this to be a string with a format of a floating point with 1 decimal point. If we don't do this, we're gonna have like 5, 6, 7 decimal points, and this is not very nice to the eye. So we do this, and now we should be able to see the distance between the first car and the other cars. So let's see if this works. Okay, so as you can see here, 5, 8, if I fall behind, you can see immediately that I'm 30 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards away. You can also just say that these are yards, so we don't forget it. And yeah, perfect. And one final thing before we finish the video is what happens when we finish our race. So when the laps are when we do more laps than our maximum lap. So we're just gonna be creating a new panel, which we're gonna call finished. And so panel here. Let me just go into 2D view. Okay, perfect. We're just gonna make this smaller a bit. Oops. Okay, so we're just gonna make this a bit smaller, going to put this in the middle, and we're also gonna be creating some text mesh pro again, so some more text. Just making it a bit bigger, and also don't forget to remove the logging icon. So we go, you finished. And then we're just gonna say, or your position, I guess. No, you finished, and then we're gonna say your position is first or second or whatever. We're gonna put this into the middle. We're gonna make this bold. We're gonna make this big. Okay, I already did this. Let's make it a bit bigger. Yep. This is, I cannot move it for some reason. Okay, so now we just change a bit the font here. So yeah, so this seems fine. Let's see how it looks. Awful, but well. Just making it a bit smaller. Okay. Why is this not moving? Okay. So now we want to disable this, disable the notifications on my laptop, and we're gonna call this finished panel without the caps lock. And we're basically just going to be saying we're gonna have a public game object finished panel, which we're gonna enable when we finish, and also we're gonna put our position. So our text mesh pro again, finished pose text. Okay, so how do we know if we have finished? So this is very, very easy. The way we get the total laps here, so we exactly copy paste this, and here that we increment our car position, our checkpoint, we just put this and we check if this is bigger, than, okay, I overdid it with a parenthesis, did I? No, I did not. If this is bigger or equal to our max length, or to our lap count. How do I have it? It's total laps, sorry. Total laps, okay. And what happens here? So here, we're gonna create a new boolean, which we're gonna call finished, which is going to be false at the start. It's going to also be a private bool. And basically, we're not gonna be updating the positioning of the cars if we have finished. So if we have not finished, we're gonna be updating the positions here. Okay, so finished is true here. And we can also call another function, which is just going to enable our finished panel. And we call this finished panel. And okay, this needs to be inside our class. So in the finished panel, we're gonna be enabling our finished panel. Okay, I'm very bad with names. Dot enable. Enable. It's the enabled. Let me check. Actually, let me ask Copilot. How do I enable a game object in Unity? Let's say. This is a great way to see how to do things. Okay, so this is wrong. Okay, so we set it to enabled, and then we go to our finished panel text, sorry, to our finished position text, and we basically just copy paste exactly what we had here. So here, what did we write? We wrote you finished and whatever this is. And also we use our new line tool. And instead of your position, we need to get the position of the player. So to do this, once again, and for the last time of the video, we're gonna be iterating over our cars, or order list actually, dot length, and we're gonna see which position a car is that is a player. So if cars dot, sorry, not dot, order list dot I is player, then this is our position. So int index is 0, index is the item we found. Perfect. So here we go, this should be .text, by the way. We go here, and we add a space, and we say this is the index I. So this is our position. Sorry, index. Okay, so we can also take this and also disable it at the start, so we don't have it randomly popping. All right, let's test this now. I'm also gonna be fast forwarding this so you don't see. So index was outside the bounds of the array, and the variable finished lap of lapping system has not been assigned. So yes, as you can see, we have probably forgot to, yes, we forgot to put our panel here and our text here. All right, let's try again now. So as you can see, we have no errors. So let's see what happens now if I win or don't win the game. So yeah, I'm gonna be fast forwarding this. Hopefully I win. I'm bad at driving and talking. Okay, so as you can see, this is lap 1 out of 2, and considering that we have finished with a position of 1. So this is close enough, but not what we wanted. So this here should not, yes, because we have inputted a +1 here. So we do not want that +1. And yeah, fast forwarding again. Okay, so in a bit, we should see me winning the race. So 3, 2, 1, boom. Your position is 0, but okay, we have forgotten to actually put the +1 on the game. So yeah, we just put a +1 here. Where is it? Here, +1. Perfect. Also, don't forget to put the parentheses. And also, so I don't forget, we can also make this a bit smaller so it doesn't overlap. Sorry, overflow. I have no idea what's called. Let's make this 32, 31, 30, sure. And oops. And what we can also do is make these spheres disappear just by going here, selecting them all. Mesh renderer is false, and we can also do the same thing for the waypoints. So mesh renderer here again. Okay, and let's do the same for the, I cannot click this, okay. For the breaking points. And let's see now how it looks. Okay, let's see how it looks now. Okay, let's make it full screen. Okay, it works, it looks good, it looks like it's working. So yeah. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. I hope you liked the video, I hope you learned something new. And yeah, if you want to check some of my other YouTube videos or subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And take care, and see you next time.